today's video, we'll be looking at godly TikToks that are going to up your vibration.
What if I told you Earth is going through a great reset and she's only going to protect the ones that protected her? Would you believe me? Spirituality is all about balance. This is why our heart sits in the middle of our chest. Remember, the Earth is the heart. These aliens you hear about, these are fake. Remember, we create the physical world from the spiritual world. So every time we go to sleep, we create the physical world. This is our shit. When you first wake up, please.
I need to start dreaming better because I need to create this physical world around me to have abundance for real. You know what I'm saying? The world been crazy. All of us, I need everybody in the comment section, everybody that's watching this, everyone that's part of the community. We need to come together on the dream realm and change this world for real.
Please don't worry about the people that call you crazy because they're going to need you one day. Remember, we are starseeds. We created obstacles and tests for ourselves before we got here. Here goes 7 stages of your awakening.
Go ahead and pause.
We traveled so many different star systems using our imagination. This is why they call us bipolar when we tap into our multidimensional self. By the way, you are not bipolar. You are just a higher being tapping into your higher self. Don't let them lie to us.
Wait. I agree to a certain extent. Yo, some people be crazy though. Some people be tripping. I'm talking about bipolar on a whole nother level. They don't be spiritual. They don't be tapped into nothing. They just be tripping.
We have something called spiritual currency that we all have. We can use this energy to do whatever we want to do, but we are misusing it. It's hard to find out who you really are when the media tell you who you should be, when religion tell you who you should be. You have to walk this path by yourself, and you will find out who you are. When you get that air ringing in your ear, it is nature calling you. When you wake up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, it is nature calling you. Listen to your intuition.
They know.
Why is the Pope kneeling?
They know. They know.
They know.
They know.
They know.
They've been.
Ooh, y'all see that picture?
They're hiding it all this time.
Ooh.
They know where the gods. They know. They know. They know. They know.
I'm not gonna lie, I started asking this question about 3 years ago. You know, I was seeing some stuff happen, and it was about the year 2020, honestly, where I went through my whole little spiritual awakening and actually like questioning things. I mean, things have always been odd to me, but before 2020, I was really into like science and all of that, right? And then something just stopped, and I'm like, hold on, things ain't right. And then I seen stuff like this, and I would question this too, and you know, it just kind of led me down a path of the right knowledge, I guess I should say. You know.
They know. They know. They know.
I don't know if I'm kissing any feet though.
The inner knowing that you always have is because you have a very powerful intuition. Beings who are tapped into this spiritual ability are able to receive universal information without any external sources. They are very special and unique within the vibrations that they hold. This allows them to be able to align with information on an unconscious and subconscious level. Their mind is able to perceive life in a way that does not create biases when using their intuitive abilities. This is why chosen ones need to practice mindful and conscious thoughts so they are not blocking their intuitive abilities. And you'll find this ability in those who are natural empaths. They experience things like precognition and receive intuitive messages from their dreams. Their conscious mind is naturally able to reside in higher dimensions, and they are able to subconsciously receive universal messages.
Y'all know if y'all ever got any messages universally? You think you
the
downloaded
key
anything?
to opening your third eye and keeping it polarized, you have to first balance your eternal energy, which is what he said, your divine masculine and divine feminine. If one of those are out of balance, you ain't got no open third eye. The other thing that needs to get out, once you open your third eye, it's either positively charged or negatively charged. When it's positively charged, you're sending messages to your oversoul.
So below.
This represents as above, so below. And so does this, but they don't.
it's actually this symbol. I'm explaining to you why.
Yes, sir.
If we take this symbol and we flip it upside down, it's not the same shape. When you're saying the words as above, so below, you're saying that it's going to be the same on the top as it is on the bottom. The actual symbol that mathematically represents as above, so below is the hexagram. This symbol right here of the entity Baphomet doesn't represent as above, so below either. It has two moons because it's only one side of the polarized reality, which is the moon, not the sun. The moon is the lesser light. People should also remember that this Baphomet that they said was duality. Duality does not mean equality. It's actually the opposite. Duality deals
And
with
he
the
dropping
contrast,
gems.
not bringing things to be the same or as above, so below. It's the hexagram that comes from Heka, the ancient magic science school that actually represents as above, so below, or the law of correspondence. Correspondence as in your inner being, your core, is responding to everything that's around you. Everything that's around you is responding to your core. As within, so without, as without, so within. As above, so below, as below, so above. No matter how you flip this, it'll still be the same shape. Stop letting these people just teach you anything because they don't have the sciences. None of these people are actual initiates. They only repeated things that they heard somebody else say on the web.
Facts.
The true science of as above, so below is dealing with an action of bringing things to order.
Yo, he was dropping gems on that one. I'm not gonna lie. Correspondence.
Actually has absolutely nothing to do with black people.
Hold on, let me read this, y'all, because it's kind of small. Neuromelanin is both, but only for darker pigment people. Eumelanin would be for brown and dark as well. And pseudoscience can't be backed up by any evidence. Neuromelanin is the essence of all creation and allows you to tap. Thing about neuromelanin actually has absolutely nothing to do with black people. Okay, I see now. So, what y'all think? Where y'all think this TikTok finna go?
Or any other person of color who has more melanin. All of this is related to black supremacy.
So before I begin, I just want to say that this girl, I warned her many times that I didn't want to argue with her. I surrendered my ego to her because I know that she can't understand from a metaphysical perception. But then she went off and made a video saying that I had spiritual psychosis and that I am delusional. So let's get into these facts. First
Drop
of all,
them
you say that
facts.
Melanin ain't got nothing to do with melanated people. First of all, melanin is the chemical key to life that makes up the entire universe, which is 9 ether. Melanated people are 9 etherical beings. Then you say this is black supremacy. Nah, this ain't no black supremacy, bruh. Black supremacy ain't even real. The only thing that's real is this.
Thank you. Like, there's no such thing as a black supremacy.
You say you did your research on neuromelanin, but the truth is, this little thing right here, Google, ain't gonna tell you the truth about neuromelanin. The only people that gonna tell you the truth about neuromelanin is a melanated individual. Why? Because we have the ability to take in the UV rays from the sun. Why? Because the sun gives out light codes, and these light codes are filled with information to produce more melanin, and it all comes from the cosmos. It comes from source. Why do you think they call melanated people the children of the sun? You think this is for shit and giggles? Nah, bro. You either organic to the planet or you inorganic to the planet. Simple as that.
All bullshit. It's suitcases full of bullshit. Anyways, the pineal gland does not produce melanin.
Bro, just look at her background. Y'all really think that she is qualified to be telling people what neuromelanin is and the pineal gland? And come on, man.
It just
Pineal gland does indeed produce neuromelanin because neuromelanin is also the electron. The electron is what you would call the God particle. Neuromelanin is an intelligence of its own. It is what gives you the ability to access and tap into higher states of consciousness.
Neuromelanin, y'all, is similar to Venom, like the movie Venom and Spider-Man. You know, this thing comes over, it has its own consciousness, and then it attaches to the body.
This is why in modern society they push GMO foods, lotions, chemicals, all this stuff so they can shut off the pineal gland, because they know once the pineal gland is open, they can tap in with their spiritual psychic gifts, and they can tap into mass amounts of neuromelanin that allows them to access higher knowledge. You remember the Adam and Eve story from the Bible? Well, let's get into the metaphysics about it. Adam is actually atom correlated to the pineal gland, while the Eve gene is correlated to neuromelanin. Why? because neuromelanin is the essence of all creation. And who produces the most neuromelanin on this earth? The black woman. She is the creator of all. She is the creator of you and me. Without black people, you are nothing. And to end it off by you saying that I have psychosis, it almost seems as if you Caucasians are just afraid that melanated people are going to take over the world once again. Be prepared for that, because the time is here.
I mean, what y'all think, man? What y'all think? Is that what it is? Is it a fear? Are people afraid, or are they just unwilling to accept it?
So when it comes to astral projection, you do this every night without even realizing. So boom, let's get right into it. So you have to meditate about this, because you're going to be going into realms while being conscious. You're going into realms with other beings that you have not seen before or have not been conscious of seeing. And yes, they are out there.
You know, I believe this guy, right? I think it was one of my past videos. He was talking about how he took 14 grams of mushrooms and it kind of just changed his life. And, you know, anyone who takes 14 grams of mushrooms is seeing things that we normally aren't going to see. Even the people that take 3 grams, like, you're not seeing what somebody that's takes 14 grams is seeing. So I kind of believe what this guy is saying.
Doing what they do, and you will see them. But you're able to live in your reality, and you are conscious about it. Just like how you are conscious watching this video, you can do the same thing while you are astral projecting. You have to meditate on this so you can learn about this. And then once you are able to learn and fathom this, now you get to start relaxing, laying in your bed, and then you get to practice doing this on a daily basis. Now, when it comes to doing this, you have to lay down, arms at your side, and relax. Your body will send you signals, you know what I'm saying, making sure like you itch, you know, trying to see if you're really asleep or whatever. It'll send you vibrations. It'll just do many things for you to stay awake. But you have to ignore these things and just keep on, you know what I'm saying, keep on doing that. So now once your brain says like, okay, like, yeah, he or she is asleep, now you'll be in sleep paralysis at this point. Once this happens, your mind will trick your body to thinking that it is sleep, but you are really conscious the whole time. And mind you, this is normal and you do this every night, but make sure you keep your eyes closed so you can try to leave your body. You have to practice this and don't worry about anything. Just keep your eyes closed and stay focused on projecting and leaving your body. Now, once this happens, once you get through all these steps, you will feel vibrations and you will see that, oh shit, like you're about to leave your body. Once you do that, you can roll over, you can sit up, and now you are conscious that you are actually out of your body. And this is what it will probably look like to some of you. Now, I can't speak for everybody's experience, but at least from my experience, this is what happened. You will just leave and you are able to fly. And we could all see each other in these realms, but you have to be conscious about it. And mind you, this is the most fun thing in the world because you are able to go anywhere. It's like you are dead ass in a plane, but you are not in a plane. You are literally the plane. You are flying and traveling to anywhere that you want. You can do anything. You can use your powers. You are able to live your life, your reality outside of this 3D dimension because now you are into other realms, other frequencies that you have not experienced before or were conscious about. And they won't tell you this because now you are able to bring these dreams to your reality because you are conscious about the power that you have.
Oh, just awesome. Now, show me everything!
I mean, you can't make it up.
Right.
You can go anywhere you want. But yeah, if you're doing this, safe travels, be safe, and hopefully I'll see you in the other world. I love you.
Yo, I got 2 takes on that, right? So how he was saying, you know, you can literally travel anywhere and you can see different people upon this astral realm. It reminds me of what these people are trying to do with the metaverse or with VR and all of these virtual realities, right? To where you can jump in and have a fully immersive experience in a whole nother realm, basically, you know, and then you want to kind of stay in that. So it's like they're trying to copy the astral realm to get you away from that into the artificial astral realm, which is the VR world, right? So that's my first take. And then the second take is, you know how you know, we're talking about astral traveling or astral projections, right? Has anyone else ever, you know, started to fall asleep and they haven't been completely, you know, asleep, or if they did, it's only for a split second and then they jump, you know, as if they were falling or something? What if that was you coming out of your body, but you weren't ready? You know what I'm saying? Like you came out of the body and then something caused you to jump back into your body, which made you jump out of your sleep. And you're like, whoa, what was that? I feel like I was falling because you were rising, to a certain level, but for some reason you fell back down to your body. So that's my second take on that. But ain't no telling, guys. I've never astral projected. I wish I could. Hey, maybe one day. I'm gonna keep trying.
True awakening versus false
light
awakening.
Or true awakening. Let's talk about it. But before that, please like, share, and join the community by following and subscribing so that TikTok knows that you want to hear about subjects like these. Now let's get straight to it. What's a false awakening? A false awakening, first of all, is the belief that you're awakened because you have somehow discovered that the world isn't quite what it may seem, but you haven't discovered that all of the changes need to happen within you. We're still looking outside for those changes. Now here's some examples. Spiritual tools. We have these spiritual tools and they're great. Tarot decks, crystals, pendulums, you name it, sage, all of them. And so you use these tools because you need them. And you always need to get something from out there to help you. When these tools, in reality, are there to assist us until we no longer need them, right? Number two, the next thing is you will be pointed to certain beings called ascended masters or archangels, and you need them. You need protection, call Archangel Michael. You need this, call Archangel this, that, or the other. And if you look at it, it's no different than the old way. Just dressed up a little bit like lipstick on a pig. Okay? So that's what a false light awakening looks like. It points you everywhere else out there, but not in here. A true awakening, however, you use the spiritual tools, you use the tarot decks, you use the books, and you use the crystals and all of that. But you're always also looking on the inside because all of those tools are there to remind you about what's inside of you, right? And they're there to help you develop that because the number one crystal on this planet is this. That's the most powerful, important crystal on the planet. You're the most important one. And as you grow and progress, you will grow to the point where every tool you could ever find is found within you. And all of the answers is within you. It's an inside game, the true awakening.
Okay. So we got to look within to truly awaken, guys.
You being a chosen one, you need to know how to navigate between your spirit and your soul.
It's big too.
Understand that your soul and spirit exist in a form of unison that is balanced within your being. And chosen ones have very ancient and special souls that differentiate themselves from the ones that surround them. Your spirit is the inner fire that gives life to your being's existence. And your soul is the caretaker and nurturer of that fire to make sure that it is well maintained and balanced. And our society is trying to disconnect the spirits and souls of the chosen ones that are on this earth right now.
I can see that.
They want to create wild souls who are unnurtured and chaotic within their energy. And they want to create souls that are lost from what they are supposed to be truly nurturing. You are not normal and need to be aware of this warfare that is taking place right now. There's a reason why you were chosen to awaken to this journey.
Yo, for real though, like, how many people believe that the soul and the spirit are two separate entities, right? You have the soul, and I feel like not everybody has a soul. Some people do, and there's soulless people out here. And then you also have the spirit, and I believe that everybody has a spirit. The spirit is what keeps you here. So I do think that it is true what he's talking about, what's going on. They kind of want to raise us to have a bunch of lost souls on this planet, and we don't really need that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So you got to tap in. You know, you got to up your vibrations. Don't be a lost soul.
Some of you out here that is even creating division within our community when it comes to talking about these Caucasian folks, these white folks. Now I'm going to show some of you guys are going to be shocked to see some of these white folks make it through because they're vibrating on the same level as Kai.
Hey, no, for real. I'm sorry, I keep pausing the video, but yeah, I've heard this rhetoric a lot, right? To where they look at the skin tone and they say that this certain type of skin tone is the chosen ones, and they're the ones that's going to make it, and then this other skin tone is going to be wiped off the earth. That I don't believe that to be true, in all honesty, because I feel like there's been a multitude of different types of people on this planet for thousands of years. It wasn't just one type of people. But I do believe that it comes down to your spirit, right? Because there's people out here who are of different races who are highly spiritual. They can sit out in this, they can do all type of stuff, right? They're not going to be wiped off. It's a certain type of individual. And it's not just black and white, because, you know, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, in all honesty.
Do not get this shit twisted, because some of you are going to get your feelings hurt. Not all Caucasians are going to be wiped off this planet.
Right.
But the ones that are left here, that means they're supposed to be here, and that means that they're here on mission, and that means that they met the frequency. Some of you guys love to talk about your genetics, but I'm going to go ahead and drop the science on y'all about that.
No, for real. Can we talk about it? Everybody has the capacity to evolve their spirit. Genetic frequency does not matter about skin color. A lot of y'all keep saying the sun gonna burn them up, their whole existence is gonna die out. They don't have souls. Do you see this white boy? He literally sits under the sun with his crystals, with his shirt off, meditating, talking about cosmic information on TikTok. We cannot come together through shared hatred just like what the KKK do. We can uplift our community without putting somebody else down. There are white people who astral project, remember their past lives, talk to aliens. Just like we got people who you would call prophets for our community, like Malcolm X, Nipsey Hussle, XXXTentacion, Dr. Sabi. There are white people who are here to uplift their community out of the ignorance. There are some white people who are in harmony with the planet, just like we are. Things are more complicated now. It's not just white people who are holding us back. We are holding us back too. I know y'all have heard talk about there being reptilians, shapeshifters being in our government, keeping this planet at a low vibratory rate. It's not just white people we gotta worry about. You can't just look at what the vessel is anymore. Stop having this superior ego-driven mindset. Talking too much about black and white. Y'all would rather argue with regular people than go up against the beings who are stirring the pot. Pushing division because of race is not going to bring this planet back to what it was. I'm finna go more in depth about this interracial couples, the things we need to stop doing, this toxic spirituality situation. But y'all know how TikTok is, so go to my YouTube. Y'all stay dangerous.
Stay dangerous, man. All skin folk ain't kinfolk.
This is how to see a clear indication of how everything is vibration using water. The first thing you want to do is grab a rock, so we're going to go ahead and use this one right here. Whatever you put out into the universe comes right back to you in vibrations. Imagine this rock is everything you're trying to manifest and everything you want in life. When you put that vibration out into the universe, it will always come back to you. Now, all these little spurts actually matter, believe it or not, because it started off with that one intention, but now it's trickling down to every event that's happening right now. So be careful what you put into the universe, because no matter what happens, it will always come back to you.
For real though, like every action you make is like a butterfly effect.
To my soul family and my soul tribe. Y'all ever notice how nature beautifully creates and destroys in harmony? Today we're gonna talk about how to tap into your chaos energy, not through fear, but through a harmonized state through nature. Come on, check it out.
Fear aspect. If you tap into it, fear way, they gonna conquer it.
And just to add on, so you don't tap into it in a fear mind state. Chaos energy is a dualistic energy, so it has destruction, it has chaos, it also has creation. So the other dualistic half of chaos energy you can find signs and symbols of is through nature. Nature depicts chaos energy in a creative fashion so beautifully, even within the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom. A lot of the animals in the insect kingdom and the animal kingdom, the bigger ones are the female. You know what I'm saying? The more beautiful ones with the more vibrant colors are the female. So
that's a good point.
In order for y'all to understand and to tap into your chaotic energy as well, take back this paradigm and shutting down this government, shutting down this matrix, is that we do have to destroy, but also in that destruction has to be creation. So we have to also pay attention to nature and the animals around us, because just how the media is showing us everything that they're doing right in front of our face, so is nature. So we have to also be assimilated back with nature at the same time and pay attention to the animals, because they already ahead of the game before natural destruction and disaster happens. They already fleeing, they already knowing where to go because they tapped in.
Science from the universe, you're manifesting your dreams. Yes, sir. Hey, y'all let me know. Any of those apply to y'all? Y'all been feeling any of
Things I wish
those?
somebody would have just told me before I started my spiritual journey. Number one, if you struggle with dream recall or lucid dreaming, try taking a nap. Most of us use our normal sleep.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. It's like being an adult, taking a nap has been extremely difficult. I've probably taken one, maybe two naps since, I don't know. Honestly, I can't even remember since I've been an adult, honestly. Even before then, I haven't taken a nap. So maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's what a lot of us need to do, is to reset, take a nap throughout the middle of the day, wake back up. You might need to tap into that dream world for a little bit during the day, and then wake back up and come back here. You might feel like a better person. It's probably all type of health benefits to it. It's probably why I'm bald. I ain't took a nap in years, man. I don't know.
Cycle for rest and recharging. So you may never make it into the dream state where lucidity happens. So I decided I was going to start taking naps with intention and using that nap time not for rest and recharge, but instead to remember, to pay attention, and to also just be active within my dreams. Number two, the ego does not die. The goal is to get the ego to mature. This idea that you could rid of the ego is done in the ego. Somebody I no longer fuck with once said, as long as the sun shines, you're gonna have a shadow. I don't like that, but the message stuck. And last but not least,
I like that.
There is an unchanging outline to manifestation. It don't matter if you're doing spell work, which is nothing but the physical act of manifestation. It doesn't matter if you're doing the 3-6-9 method. There are pillars that will never change. Intention, envision, emotion, experience. Intend to see what you can feel to have what you deserve. If you don't think you're deserving, the entire equation gets canceled out. So you might want to check that base twice. You could say it as you're working a spell. You could say it as you're working yourself. Or you could just say it as you're working with that vision in mind.
Okay, talk that talk, queen. For real.
Run this. Bro, like, I thought about this with my homies one time. I was like, yo, like, bro, what if the whole time, bro, we think like Caucasians run things, but really the whole time behind the scenes, the true elites are really just melanated.
Yo, I had this same thought. Y'all can ask my brother. I told him this like a little while ago. Like, behind the scenes, I feel like there is a black elite that's running everything, and they're the ones that control all the things, and they need these distractions, for us people to believe that they're not running things, and man, because like I said earlier, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, right? You can literally go a block down your street or a couple blocks or into the wrong neighborhood, and then people gonna look at you different. They don't want you there or something like that, and y'all could dang near be cousins, right? So just imagine if we're talking about, man, like at a higher level, these people aren't looking at us as kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? They are looking at them and probably their family up here, and they want to keep it that way. Yo, so, hey, I got to tap into this one.
People. And it's crazy because I thought about it like this, bro. I asked myself, I was like, bro, if I was really the person that ran the world, or if I had a secret society that ran the world, I'm smart, bro. I would not let anybody even know my race. I wouldn't let nobody know that I'm even melanated. I would literally use Caucasians as the face of it. And what's crazy is, bro, when you walk in, right, you walk in the jail, you go to your processing, then you go to your holding cell and all that. Bro, when I walked in processing, everybody behind the desk was melanated. The person that opened the door was a melanated person. The person that took my fingerprints was a melanated dude. The person that handed me my papers with my charges on them was melanated. The first thing I thought in my head was like, yo, y'all literally the workers. These white people that came and got me, y'all literally the dogs, y'all the canines, and these is the people that's gonna lock me up. It's my own people. Yo, that's crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. To tap back on that point, right? It's like, who was that? I think it was, oh my God, Brother Panic. That was who it was. Brother Panic was talking about this a while ago, and how it was saying that there probably is a black elite ruling this. And he was saying that if you go back in time and back in history, right, all the wars and things, it's literally been melanated people who have been at war with each other over years. And even till this day, we're constantly butting heads. We're constantly arguing, constantly,
you know, we can't come together on the same note for anything to save our lives. You know, things are getting a little bit better with the youth, but if we're looking at history, so what if there was this one group, the secret society, who said, look, I'm tired of all the fighting, da da da. Let's use these people, make it seem like they're the ones in charge, and we'll just sit back, you know, and call the shots. And then that puts an end to these year-long or 1,000-year-long wars that we've been having, and we'll let them go to war with these people. You know what I'm saying? Or we'll just confuse them all together. They don't even know who they are at this point. So, man, that's a deep topic to touch on.
Movies you should tap into if you're on your spiritual journey or you just had a spiritual awakening. Part 1. This movie is a gem and it's called Frequencies, and it talks about the different frequencies within people. It gives new perspectives on how frequencies affect our luck and the divine plan within the universe. It shows a different perspective from what we commonly think of as a high frequency person from a low frequency person. This is definitely a movie you should tap into ASAP. Now, I just recently tapped into this movie and it has some gems in it.
This movie
taps into the ability of the dream world as well as the power of your subconscious mind. With me already tapping into my subconscious mind, it just helped me understand the power of it a lot more. Another gem, go tap in with it ASAP. Now, this movie doesn't need an introduction.
This movie crazy.
It's called Lucy. This movie taps into the concept of us being able to use our brain at its full capacity. And it allows you to understand that everything starts from within your mind and brain. Tap in.
Yo, that's crazy. That Lucy movie, y'all gotta watch that for real.
The fact that you depend on yourself and you like to be alone, you don't really like speaking, you're to yourself, you're like an introvert, you're an empath, that they're going to use that against you. I'm telling you, they're going to gaslight you. Don't let that shit get to you. Don't let them niggas make you feel bad for being you. Don't let your family, your parents make you feel bad and because you're different and because you're focused on your purpose, bro.
I am God. You're God? What are you talking about? I said, yeah, I'm God and God is me.
Facts.
The same divine spark that created everything in the entire universe is the same divine spark that's inside.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna stop saying facts, right? Because I just said it, I don't even like it. Truth. That's what I'm gonna start saying. Truth. Because the only thing that's real on this world is truth. Facts are man-made. I'm gonna just throw that out there.
Inside of every atom inside of my body. And so by that method, I am God and God is me. And so are you. And so is this young lady as well. We're all the same. We're all part of that same one divine consciousness. That threw him off right away. Then because he's a program code, he couldn't even conceive of what I had just told him. He didn't even have an epiphany with that. He went right back into his pitch. And I said, okay, I'll listen to you if you can answer some questions. Can you answer some questions? And I said, when was the Bible written? And he goes, oh, it was written thousands of years ago. I said, oh man. I said, no, the Bible wasn't written thousands of years ago.
It wasn't.
I said, do you even know who wrote the Bible? Oh yeah, Paul, Peter, John. I said, oh my God, listen, man. I said, you happen to stumble into one of the world's foremost experts on biblical texts, the Torah, the ancient tablets in the world. That's who you're talking to right now. Do you understand that the Bible was not written by any of the disciples? He got flabbergasted. I'm like, dude, listen to me. The disciples, if you were to do your studies, they were actually illiterate men. They couldn't read or write. There was nobody standing there transcribing every sentence that they've spoken either. How did the Bible come along, even including the Old Testament? You've heard me say this before. They copied the majority of that stuff from the Enuma Elish, the Atrahasis, the Mahabharata. You have some of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, right? You have in there, you have, like, for example, the 42 Laws of Mayat. You know, that's where you get the 10 Commandments that were extracted from that information. You have the Bhagavad Gita, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. You have the Sumerian tablets that are outside of the Enuma Elish. There's many tablets that exist. The Code of Hammurabi, the Epic of Gilgamesh. I mean, that can just keep going and going and going. And I said, then you have the Emerald Tablets, where Jesus is teachings are identical copies of Thoth's teachings from the ancient Kemetic mystery schools taught 50,000 years ago in the land of Kem, which is now known as Egypt.
Hey, just to touch on that, right? I've got this theory of Thoth, right? And, you know, where he came from. I truly believe that he came spreading his knowledge across the world from the Americas, the old world, the old America, right? Ancient America. Because, man, I don't even want to go into it too much right now because it's a lot to touch on. But if you do your research, it kind of makes sense because it says that he came across waters. This is when he was in Africa, you know, teaching them their ways, you know, and this goes back to the old knowledge. And there's only one place across, and that's the Americas. It could be South America, it could be North America. There's still one landmass connected. We got to remember that as well.
And I can see the steam coming out of this guy's ears. He couldn't even conceive what the heck I was telling him. And I said, do you know that the Bible was written thousands of years after the people were long gone, dead, buried, bones disintegrated, and everything else on the ground? He said, no, what are you talking about? I said, listen to me, man. The Bible was written from 100 AD to 900 AD. And who wrote the Bible? Those were followers of Thoth. These people didn't write a Bible, by the way. What they did was they started discovering in different caves and different little makeshift buildings that existed a long time ago, these vases with scriptures and cylinder scrolls and papyruses and tablets, and they started collecting them, and they started transcribing that information onto paper, parchment paper, and so forth. And so that text, that information over time will be studied by the Gnostics. Even in more time, much later, you have then the Coptic Christians, and then you also have the councils that were formed. Like, for one is the Council of Nicaea, who then started analyzing a lot of these copied and recopied and recopied and recopied and recopied texts, and started analyzing which ones to keep and which ones to keep out. Which ones to keep, they were thinking, let's make this into an actual canonized book. We'll take this and put that in here. We'll take this one, no, that talks about aliens. We don't want the book of Enoch in here because he's talking about aliens. Let's leave that one out. We don't
There's
want
so many excluded books.
The book of Adapa in here because he's talking about aliens. We don't want that in here. That's the book of Adam. We don't want that in here. So you have all these apocryphal texts that were kept out, right? And the Council of Nicaea coordinate and create this hodgepodge of a book based on hand-picked content, curated content that they wanted that would allow them to still maintain control over the people.
Yo, Billy Carson be going deep, man. You gotta watch his videos.
Let's
Tap
think
in.
about philosophy and illumination, and why growing and evolving these two things within you will help you in your journey so much. Now, first, let's get down to the root and the definition and meanings of these two things. Now, philosophy, in my own words, is just your own view and perception on nature, existence, and life in general. Now, philosophy is such a big thing in my life because it gives you a better understanding of yourself once you start to understand the things that are outside of yourself, or the things that you perceive to be outside of yourself. And all of this plays hand to hand with illuminating the mind. And for you who don't know, illumination is just light. So when you illuminate the mind, you are actually illuminating your consciousness, and you're becoming a more bright and powerful person. You illuminate yourself by understanding and growing in consciousness. You have to build a strong discernment, a higher intellect, and just a higher perspective on life. And this is a crucial statement because we're actually living in a society where people don't have their own philosophy and they are not illuminated. And when people do start to become aware and conscious, they start to just take everything else from other people's philosophy and other people's perspective instead of building their own. And they replicate the illumination of others instead of creating their own. And it's actually so simple and such an easy thing to do. When you wake up, you just have to set your intention on actually learning lessons from everything in life. You have to become a student to life, which means you can find a lesson and a new understanding on the smallest experiences. True illuminated people learn lessons from the littlest things in life. It could be a walk in nature that sparks something in your mind. It could be a baby, a kid that teaches you a valuable lesson. This makes your mind open to always evolving and always growing and always changing. Y'all have to realize we're here to shed our skin to become new people. But most people in society think they have nothing to learn from people or nothing to learn from the smallest experiences. They don't live life with that extra grain of salt that might even just get you where you need to be in life. And you just didn't notice it, all because you don't have the intention on learning lessons from everything in life. This whole experience, all of existence should be teaching you things. You have to question things in life and create a solution off of your own imagination. People are so stagnant in life because they're not questioning their existence. An illuminated person is someone who is living in tune with the planet and nature. They don't have any restriction on how far their mind can go. They're observing life through the mind's eye instead of these two physical eyes. They're creating their own reality, their own perception, their own world in their own mind, while everybody else is just sitting, watching, and following other people's. It's an energy thing. You know when someone's illuminated because you can feel it in their energy. Y'all make sure y'all focusing on yourself though. I say.
Hi, baby. How are you doing?
I'm alright. Thank you.
Want to just chill with me for a bit?
I don't know, do y'all?
It's very relaxing. Because sometimes this world is tough and hard, and we're moving so quickly, and we're always in our heads, and people are judging us or not judging us, and we're worried all the time about something. The future, the past. But you want to just be with me right here, right now? You can take a deep breath. Wiggle it out. Everything's going to be okay. We're right where we need to be. We're part of the universe. The universe is looking out for us. I love you, and I'm proud of you. Be proud of yourself too.
Today I'm going to go over the 5 crystals that everybody should have. Okay, first is citrine. It's a very, very powerful one. This one carries the energy of the sun. This is one of the only crystals that you don't have to clear. You don't have to cleanse, you don't have to put under the sun or moonlight to clear. It clears itself, and it clears any crystal that's next to it or on top of it, right? So citrine, very, very powerful. This one, rose quartz, very powerful. This has to do with attracting more love into your life, self-love, or just love in general. This one over here is a black obsidian. It absorbs negative energies from other people, EMFs, ELFs, radio waves, so that you don't absorb it yourself.
I need some of that black obsidian.
Very, very powerful one for raising the vibration of any room, or any place that you're in. And lastly, here's labradorite. Helps with awakening the intuition and psychic senses as well.
All right, need to get some crystals in here. I got the plants, need some crystals now. I have no clue what happened in that
Things
video,
I wish
y'all.
someone would have told me about magic and witchcraft, part 4. Love magic works. I did some love magic one time on someone who I didn't really want to have a relationship with. Just wanted to get a little closer without realizing that that person was actually a stalker. And maybe I made them a stalker? Don't know. But they became a stalker.
That's
and they
what
didn't
you
leave me
get.
alone for 11 years. I had to move multiple times. Don't do magic on crazy people.
Reminder to write letters to people about how you feel. Never send them.
You know, I do want to do that more. It reminds me of my childhood. Used to have pen pals in elementary school.
I got this tattoo, and it says 60 seconds. And I'm gonna tell you why I got it. It's because someone asked me a question, and I didn't like the answer. They said, Lauren, what would you do if you found out that you only had 60 seconds left to live? Would you have any regrets about your life? Would you wish that you had done anything different? And I said yes. Even though that question is scary, it's important to ask because you don't want to get to the end of your life, whenever that might be, and regret not chasing that dream of yours, regret not telling that person that you love them. You don't want to have any regrets, right? Life is short and it is fleeting. Stop wasting it pretending to be someone you're not. Stop wasting it being scared and not living your life to the fullest, because if you only had 60 seconds left, there's no going back.
Let's learn about crystals. Green onyx, used for blocking negativity, boosting confidence,
It's a nice looking crystal.
and lowering anxiety.
Okay, you were raised by a Karen. I was raised by a mother that pulled me out of school for a day to go foraging for plants in the woods.
Ellie, it's a full moon. I need to take this more seriously.
Mom.
They did this to me on purpose. No, they did what they know.
Yeah, but if I mattered to them, they would have done better. No, people's behaviors is how they feel about themselves. Then things should be easier for me. This story that you're telling yourself is avoiding you to step into your power. Okay, but I have no clue what I'm doing. Nobody does. Okay, but I'm not healing fast like others. Someone used to judge your progress, and you don't have to deal with that anymore. Okay, but I just feel like no one understands. That just means you're on a process of understanding yourself. But I constantly attract the wrong people. No, you are attracting people representing your unhealed trauma.
Anybody else feel that way? I mean, I kind of like how she did that at the end. No, it's really just you're attracting your trauma in a way. I like that, for real. It's a lot of crystals.
Okay, I'm probably gonna get slaughtered for this video, but I don't care, it's interesting as fuck. First, I need to tell you guys about a mutual that I have. Can't duet it because the video got privated, but I'll tell you what she said. Basically, she had a talk with her spirit guides, right? She asked about the Christian God, and her spirit guides told her that the Christian God was in jail. This is because he was misleading humans and straying them away from the one true source. By the way, I'm not saying that this is real or fake, I'm just sharing it with you guys because it's fucking fascinating. So I thought that was really fucking interesting. So I'm watching this YouTube video, right, called The Theory of Everything. It's a 3-hour-long video. Literally in the first like 10 minutes, it goes over something called the demiurge, which according to this guy is an ancient Greek and Gnostic concept. Now, the demiurge is the creator of the physical reality, but they are not the supreme creative force behind all things. The demiurge is typically described as a force or a deity. Okay, so this video was saying that people get lost in the demiurge, think that the demiurge is the one true reality. However, it had imposed itself on top of actual reality, which is the supreme oneness that created all things. It goes on to say that this demiurge or false god masks us from the truth, which is literally what she was talking about.
Do you love crystals as much as I do? Of course you do. That's why you're here. On today's episode of TikTok Made Me Buy Things, I'd like to show you my new mining kit. I got a huge bag of dirt that I sift through and find lots of affordable gems. It's super fun, but as you can see here, it was messy, especially because I live in an apartment complex and I don't have access to a normal hose. I ended up moving water spigots and it was a lot easier from that point forward. There are so many gems in the big bag, I had to do it twice. Pretty fun, but don't let...
Hey, she casting spells, y'all. That's crazy. I'm about to give me some crystals to see if I can cast some spells. Everybody else doing that, I need to protect my energy.
These pictures fool you. You might need your phone for some more identification help. Honestly, this is like one of the best experiences I had during quarantine. It was so much fun. It was an affordable way to get a variety of crystals, and I can't wait to put it into my collection.
I'm gonna keep speaking on this until you understand it because this is so important. Take a look around you. Everything in your physical reality now started off as a thought in someone's mind. They thought that thought long enough and hard enough until it manifested into our physical reality. Your mind is a tool. It is meant to be used by you. You are not meant to be used by it. You are not your thoughts. If you are your thoughts, then who is observing your thoughts? You are consciousness. When your thoughts are just running unchecked, newsflash, they're not saying anything new. It's running the same old thoughts that were programmed there so long ago. It's damn near impossible to try to force yourself to stop thinking something. So instead of trying to stop thinking something, we're going to reprogram it and replace it with a new thought that we want to be true. You are going to change the narrative. You are also going to take up a meditation practice. It takes practice to reprogram your subconscious.
I got a question for all my followers out there, right? Everyone who's watching this video. Do you think that you can actually create a new thought, right? Something that's never been thought of before. Hey! Stop running. I don't believe that any new thoughts can be created. I feel like all thoughts are old thoughts. And I feel like whenever you have a thought, it's just something that you pull down from a pool of thoughts that's swimming over our minds, you know, or that's in a whole nother realm, the realm of the mind, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I just feel like it's very difficult to create a new thought. If you've created a brand new thought, let me know in the comment section.
You know what I mean? Or they'll flash an image really fast so you can't see it, but your subconscious takes it in. That'll say, like, you're fat and ugly, so you need this pill, right? And this isn't fake. This started back in the 60s.
I think this is subconscious programming. You know, they do this all the time. I see this everywhere. You know, actually, what's one of the most craziest ones I seen was at a weekend concert. Right? You know how you go to concerts and they're flashing lights. Someone slowed down the video, and as soon as the light flashed, there was a word that was on the screen. But if you're watching it in real time, you would never know that that word was there. Subconscious programming.
Tested out Coca-Cola in a movie theater. So everyone in the movie theater was watching the movie, and they flashed Coca-Cola on the screen really fast a bunch of times during the movie, and no one noticed. And then after the movie, everyone rushed to go get a Coca-Cola. And then they did another experiment where they didn't flash it at all. No one went and got a Coca-Cola after. This is how subliminal messages work. They get into your subconscious, and we have been subconsciously programmed through ads, subliminal messages, societal standards, school, media, news, so many different things.
I first started meditating. I didn't sit like this. I sleep on my stomach. So I started meditating like this. And something that really changed the way I meditated was allowing thoughts to come into my mind instead of pushing everything out. So when you're meditating, if you're focusing constantly on pushing things out, like I shouldn't be thinking about this, I shouldn't be thinking about this. No, you should be thinking about it. That's why it's there. That's why it's sitting in front of your mind on a platter, waiting for you to cut it open and see and reveal why it's there.
Okay. I mean, I can't meditate like that, but that's good advice for sure.
Again. If you would like to get better results from your spells, you need to work with the moon. The moon is sacred to witches. It provides light in the dead of night. It affects all bodies of water, the tides of the oceans, as well as our emotions. When the moon is full, we manifest. And when it gets smaller, we let things go and remove things from our lives. When the moon is new, we can start again. And when it gets bigger, we can draw things towards us. Blessed be.
Okay. Hey, I wonder, he said that the moon, it affects all water, right? And if us as humans are, I don't know the percentage, but I'm sure it's a lot, majority water. How does the moon affect us? You know what I'm saying? Like, people have these crazy thoughts, and it could be the way the moon is pulling you and your body, in all honesty, because if you're 90% water or 75% water or whatever the percentage is, it's definitely going to have an effect on you. That's something to think about.
Grand Rising, my little phoenixes, gang. I want to remind you of something today. Who you truly are. Who you truly are. Not who you think that you are or what people say that you are. I'm talking about who you truly are. Who you truly are is so incredible that if you really knew yourself fully, nothing could touch you in this world. Nobody's words could affect you in this world. Because when you start tapping into the real you, baby boo. Baby boo.
Baby boo. Baby boo.
There is no such thing as coincidence. If you're watching this video, that means you are energetically aligned with me and the message that I'm about to tell you. Hour by hour, you can create a whole new reality simply by the thoughts that you think. You claim to know this already, but why are you still living the life that you dread? You must be open mentally to change. You must believe in miracles. The old mindset of working hard for an amazing, abundant life is outdated. You deserve it. Comment below. I deserve it.
Go ahead, say it. I deserve it.
How does it make you feel? This is a theta wave. Theta waves are from 4 to 8 hertz and induce hemispherical synchronization of the left brain and the right brain. If you listen to these sounds during meditation and achieve a hemisync, or a hemispherical synchronization of the brain, you can achieve an out-of-body experience and interact with higher dimensional energies. I would also recommend listening to theta waves while you sleep to induce lucid dreams.
Souls, the children as we call them, coming into our planet through birth now, are the fighters. They are the last reserve. They're coming in at the end days. They're ready to fight. They're psychic. They're strong. And they don't care about dying because they understand they can never die. We misuse those energies by not giving them direction. Understand these, well, there's so much to presuppose, and I'm sure most of you are the same vibe. I can only say that what we call children aren't. These souls now are strong. Some are very bad, some are very good, but none are weak. You must not be weak if you call them forth. And if you call them, protect them, because there is some unison, some harmony, some karma, a dharma that connects you with these souls. That's why they're born to you now. And the fact that you took precedence in life first before their entrance means, again, that they are still supposed to come under your direction for a short time. You can teach in the womb, as I talked to a beautiful sister tonight. But if they take in the venom, the pus, the things that are given in these hospitals and by the doctors in serum inoculation, it lowers the vibration of the blood. If the blood vibration is lowered, the glands and organs function is lowered. The vibration of the entire body is lowered, the immune system is lowered, and you become an animal, a human. You lose your godship, you must then strive to re-get it, and must spend time that could have been spent better. Now we're trying to recuperate.
Yo, Dr. Delbert Blair is a genius, man. The way he talks is like, you just automatically think he knows exactly what he's talking about. Man.
Elder explains Akashic records.
The Akashic, and it's sent to the sun, mother server, which then sends it to the other sun. Everything you're seeing on a microscopic level exists on a macroscopic level. So the suns are servers. That's what a sun does. It serves the planets around it. But it also is a server, like an electrical server. So everything on the planets around that sun uploads their information to the sun. This is where they even get the idea of store it in the clouds or store it in the heavens from. Because nature does that naturally. The planet talks to the sun talks to the planet. So if the planet needs some assistance from the sun, it asks for it, and it will actually send that energy.
And you call that Akashic?
The Akashic record is recorded around a planet or around an entity. It's the energetic record keeping system. They came up with a quote-unquote man-made version of that, and they call it the cloud. You're sending it up to the cloud. And they released that in a movie a long time ago. I think it was called Eon Flux or something. It had Charlize Theron in there, where they're telling you they're storing everything in this big dirigible balloon floating at 80,000 feet up in the sky. And it kept all the data. And it ran this future world where everything was based on them knowing everything and recording everything. And the reason they kept it at like 100,000 feet in the sky, so people couldn't get to it. But she figured out as a warrior, and then they figured out how to get to the. So the same idea, but it's based on nature. Nature sends everything to the planet. The planet has an aura. He has an auric field, which we can see when the aurora borealis comes through. You can see that there's an aura around the planet. So everyone who chooses to come here and born here, you can download information from the Akashic record. You also have a record inside of you. Your DNA is a record of all the bloodlines history. That you were born into a bloodline. And in that blood is a line of information. Million years or however many years back.
Yeah.
So they call it blood.
How long does your DNA go back to?
It could go back for billions of years.
Billions of years.
So imagine that. That's why I always tell people to have a visual. When I walk with 1 million people behind me, at least. So I'm the tip of the spear. My spear is 1 million deep. So you walk without fear. So I'm never alone. I never go into any battle, any situation, anything by myself. Because literally in science, you cannot be by yourself. If you have 1 million people, at least inside of your DNA, then how can you be by yourself? How can you be lonely?
I'm listening, and the interview has already started, my brother.
Oh,
we're gonna do it just like this. Where you're at, the lighting is perfect, your energy is perfect. All right, brother, have a good one.
Hey,
Yeah, he out here dropping gems.
You know that. You're already in touch.
Definitely talking about the Akashic records. It's just crazy to think that all the information, all the data ever recorded.
This is why understanding you don't exist and nothing is real makes you God. Time is not real. Let's break down the mental and physical aspects of it. Time, past, present, and future, they are all properties of consciousness. With the past being recollection, the future being anticipation, and now being the present moment. Time is the movement of your thoughts. There's no such thing as a universal clock. This scene in the movie Interstellar shows us how time dilation works. They landed on a planet where the gravitational pull was so strong that every hour they spent there was equivalent to 7 years on Earth. These are photons, this is light. The holographic matrix is inside a light. Your eyes absorb it, and the mind projects the world. If light could be a person, any clock you looked at would never move. Light does not experience time. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm trying to wake you up. Reality is an illusion, this shit is all a dream. Using the interpretation of quantum physics, all matter in the universe is made of atoms. These atoms are made of 99.9999999% empty space. So with that being a fact, you have to question why reality feels so solid. This is because of the basic law of electrostatics. It's this repulsive magnetic force that makes reality feel real and stops your body from collapsing in on itself. And the atoms are made of energy that behave as particles and waves, meaning that particle me is here now, but the wave version of me doesn't exist as a localized point in space and time. Particles and energy that make up my body exist everywhere in a state of infinite potential. The dust I was before humans and Earth existed, me right now and every other stage of my life, and the pure energy I'm going to turn back into. It exists across the universe as possibility until I open my eyes and turn it into this observable situation, this moment. Let's get on some Matrix shit. This is video game coding. This is information. This is a bunch of shit you don't understand. That's reality, a bunch of energy, information, and potential. Shit we can't understand. We can still play the game because even though this is the game, this is what we see, understand, and operate in. You are the entire universe, but at the same time, the entire universe creates your mind. And it's your mind that you view the universe through. And because you're viewing it through your mind and not as it actually is, you're dreaming. This is an illusion, right? This is the true reality. Emptiness. Your mind creates space and time. Reality is energy, information, possibility, potential. It's not a solid physical thing. Everything, all of us are connected. Everything is one big giant consciousness, an infinite mind. I'm this eyeball, you're that eyeball. We're all just little pieces of it. But the entirety of it is you. You just don't know that. None of the words I'm using to talk to you right now actually mean anything. These are random vibrations that you're assigning concepts and labels to understand me. What I'm trying to say is our existence is a trip, and your faith in God doesn't have to be rooted in mythology, and you don't have to have blind faith in some deity outside of you. Through understanding science and psychology, you can dismantle your entire perception of reality and see what's left there when you do that. You are pure consciousness. You are everything in the form of you. Once you do that, you can finally detach from life and detach from yourself. That's the recipe. Once you transcend, all of the power is yours. I'm gonna show you how to use it.
Yo, that was a lot, y'all. Hopefully none of that flew over anybody's heads, but yo, definitely a lot of info to digest.
They told you to maintain control over your perspective. They told you that the trees they fucking cut down are mountains. That's a perspective grabber right there. Because had they told you as a child, like, had giant trees, but they got cut down, they could have just told you that. Hey, it was giant trees at one time and they all got cut down. So now when you ride and you see them giant tree stumps, you be like, oh, them tree stumps. But your perspective is different about the whole fucking life you live. Like, you go like, hold on, it was trees that fucking big? And who the fuck cut them down if they was that big? And what did they use? Your mind runs off with so many questions. So to control your perspective, the mountains. And they come from rock formations in earth. That's a whole different perspective. And then the bushes, the little bushes on your planet, like them trees, them actually trees. So now you like them mountains that now don't exist, and you looking at the bushes of the planet, and you like, oh, them trees.
And them some big ones right there. So imagine what we got in our front yard.
That's big.
Is that a shrub?
That's huge. That's huge.
Literally, it's a huge tree. Y'all remember this?
The majority of African Americans that lived here were brought over here.
No.
No.
That's.
Hey, and I like what he's about to say right here because I'm in full agreement with what he's about to say. Just letting y'all know where I stand on this point.
Not economically sound.
What do you mean by it's not economically sound?
So what I'm saying is, people were already here. Does it make sense to go all the way to this other continent to bring people on a boat when we know that half of your stock is gonna die? You wouldn't do that.
So how many people do you think were brought over from Africa on slave ships? Because that definitely happened.
I don't believe it.
What do you mean you don't believe it?
I don't believe that story. You think this whole land was empty? No, there were natives here.
Right.
But today we're taught that natives is some other people. No, natives are the melanated African being that has come here since the beginning of the Mali Empire. We're talking about 14th, 13th century. We had already come here from Africa.
Real.
And probably long before that as well. 13th, 14th century. That's not that long ago, in all honesty. And if we're talking about in terms of like how old this world is, like man, if they were traveling the world long before any of this stuff was written down, any knowledge that we have. So I believe people were here, they were everywhere.
Oh yeah, we had already come here. Maybe people were brought over as slaves, but I don't think that the black people in America came from Africa on slave ships. I believe the people that were here were slowly conquered. First they got the East Coast, and then they started spreading out west little by little, conquering. And when you conquer a tribe, what do? You enslave them. They're POWs. Right?
Okay.
That's what you do.
But I'm still confused. There's a great history of slave ships being brought over from Africa.
History is his story.
Right.
What about my story? Is my story not valid?
But if you do 23andMe on
23andMe
from out
23andMe,
well, that's
either way. If you take black people here in America and you do their DNA sample and it point back to Africa, what does that say? It says black people in America are Africans. Now the argument is, were we brought here or were we already here? Did we bring ourselves here or did the white man bring us here? You see, when you say the white man brought us here, what you're doing is you're removing our ability to transport ourselves. You're saying, oh, we didn't know anything about boats. That's what you're trying to tell me. You're trying to tell me that we didn't know that there was a landmass here. Go look at the primary source. You got here, we met black people. When you got the Caribbean, we met black people. You think the Caribbean is right next to America and they weren't in America?
That's interesting.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean, when you go and you look at real European history, right, would believe that if they took a bath, that was bad.
Right.
They didn't even want to change their clothes. They thought that dirty was purity. When we talk about the Moors going into Spain and into Europe, the stories in the history, our history, says that when we met the so-called Caucasian, he was sleeping in the barn with the animals, and we told him, no, you can't sleep in the barn with the animals. We taught them etiquette. We taught them running water. We brought that technology to Europe. Now, if we brought the technology to Europe that saved Europe from the Black Plague, you mean to tell me that if we saved the white race, that we weren't already in America already? When we brought the technology? When Rome was dependent on Africa for food? Remember when the Black Plague hit Rome? The cause was one of the officials was stealing the grain that was coming from Africa. So there was famine, hit Rome. If your source of sustenance is from Africa, how are you superior? You're not. You get your food from me. So if you get your food from me, who's more likely to travel this globe? Me, I'm the source of food. And that's the first thing you need to survive on this planet.
Yo, he went in on that interview. Y'all gotta go watch the full entire interview.
Why do we get sick? The body was not designed to be sick. Bird doesn't get sick. Elephant doesn't get sick. He needs no vet. The lion doesn't need a vet. Neither is a giraffe or any of the natural animals. Why do we get sick? There has been a violation. A violation that is costing us our life today. Because of the violation, I become stressed until I die. Why do we get sick?
Yo, that's a good question to ask, man. Like, if no one else on this planet gets sick.
Now we need to talk about the end times, because we are currently experiencing what you would consider the end of the world. And they've been giving you so much hints about it in movies and television and even video games. And even if you're religious, they've been telling us out the books what time that we're in. And yet people are still worried about this system, the school, their jobs, and just distractions and entertainment. Just a whole bunch of things that do not matter, especially if we're currently in the end times. Now I'm here to tell you what this end of the world prophecy represents. It's not the actual end of the world. The world will always continue on forever. We're going through a shift and we're entering a new age of time. What this means is that this current systematic enslavement way of life is coming to an end. For the past couple hundred years, we've been in a time of enslavement, lies, and deception. Slavery never ended, it just became mental. These slave masters never became good people, they just hid their evilness from you. This is all coming to light now, and this whole way of life is coming to an end. The system will burn down. The end is actually a rebirth into a new world, a world that's completely different.
For real though, like I've heard the
Calling
same
this
thing.
to my soul family and my soul tribe. Are past lives really a part of your past? How does that make sense when time ain't real? Today we're gonna talk about past lives, past life regressions, and what they really is. Come on, check it out.
That is my answer to that question.
To add on, Junie 215, to bring you to a state of omniscience, right? First and foremost, me personally, I know and experience that there is no past life, right? Everything that we are doing right now is considered a now life. Even if you have a vision or dream or astral travel and you perceive what you're experiencing as a past life, is actually a now life. So what you really have to understand is that you have karma in this life, right? The things that you do and build up negative energy around, build up karma in this life, right? So how is your now life affecting the karma of the other past life versions of you that are technically still existing right now? You don't necessarily, like the guy said, have to really know who you was in the past life. Know who you are right now. You dig what I'm saying? Stop putting so much focus on the past. You dig? We have so many projections of what's coming towards our past. In all actuality, fuck all that. Tap into who you are right now and relinquish yourself of the karmic cycles that you do now, because as you do that, it will release the karmic cycles of your ancestors, of the ones that came before you, of you in those previous incarnations, because you have the awareness that you had a past life now, but now you live. So what you gonna do?
Signs from the universe, your soul is talking to you. Okay, anybody got any of those going on? If
Christian people, not even a Christian, all the people who go to churches interpret the Bible and the preachers them. That is not the right way. Because the greatest thing is that life. See, it's life. Life I deal with. If the preacher read the Bible and tell you that you have to die to go to heaven, then he's not reading the Bible. Because the Bible tell you you have to live in a heaven. You don't die and go to heaven, you have to live in heaven. You know, a lot of places on earth could be, but Africa is our heaven, because that's where we come from. You know, maybe if it's a Swiss, maybe if you're from Switzerland and the people know God, then maybe you could live in peace, unity, harmony, you know. But you know, people are stubborn on this earth because of material vanity.
Material vanity.
Different species all over the universe. Not everybody here is in Starseed or in anarchy, but I can say for a high percentage, y'all from different species. But keep in mind the anarchies just wasn't, when you gotta make it clear that when you say anarchy, it just don't mean one particular species, like the Anunim and Enlil them. They was one humanoid looking species that was in the Anunnakis. They had many other species that could be classified as Anunnaki that was coming to Earth. That coming from Earth from Lunar. There's 144,000 species, different species on Lunar, right? From different tribes, different look different. Fish people, insects, different types of creatures.
Yo, so first off, the artwork on that one, banging. I really do like the artwork on there. But he said something about the 144,000 being different species from another spot, right? And I've never really thought about that because it kind of goes into play with a lot of things, like, for instance, Noah's flood, and they saved, you know, a different species of, you know, different animal, and technically we are animals. And what if the 144,000 was a species that they were talking about, which was saved from the flood? And we have 144,000 different species of people or humans on this planet. I don't know how true that is, but I mean, it's something to think about.
So now we at the part where the government gone, don't nobody know the government gone, and everybody thinking it's business as usual.
And it's not, and I keep saying that. The government is gone. Yes.
Yeah, it's over with.
It's gone, huh?
The whole America fiasco is over with. The international bankers, all that's over with. All of them been removed from their positions of jurisdictional authority. They have no power left. The problem is our people are in this trauma, post-traumatic slave disorder, when we were never no slaves. We was prisoners of war, but we wasn't slaves. They captured us and forced us to work on Big Mama house, take Mama out of Big Mama house and just call it the big house and force us to work and make shift because they used what was here.
I agree with that.
They turned our castles into prisons, asylums, and state buildings. They still here.
Yes.
Definitely.
They said there wasn't no royalty on the land because we left our castles to go fight the Gullah Wars. Ain't that some audacity?
Yo, that's crazy. And I agree with him there because, like, you see these old buildings in any town. And anybody watching this video, I want you to go downtown to your city, whatever city it is, and look at the buildings. They're going to look exactly like the buildings in the downtown area of a city, completely in a whole nother space, right? In my city, your city, their city, they all look the same because these people was here. And the timelines don't match up, right? You see these grand buildings, right, that was supposedly built by, we know who they're supposedly built by, in like the 17 and 1800s, right? But it doesn't make sense because if you go back, they had no material, no means of making these buildings. If you're following their timeline, they had just got over here. They ain't even been here that long. So how are they building these big buildings? You know, buildings that they can't even build today.
Out of everything you've ever done, what's the craziest experience you've ever had?
That's easy. Earth.
Earth? You went to Earth?
I did.
No way. You were a human?
I was.
Wow. Are the stories about Earth true? Were they really trapped on Earth?
Some were. I know because I was one of the volunteers.
Wait a second. You volunteered to go to Earth?
I did. I had to. I had family trapped on Earth.
But how could you get trapped on Earth?
You had to be there to understand. On Earth, you wouldn't remember anything.
What do you mean you wouldn't remember anything?
I mean, you would have no memory of anything. You wouldn't even remember existing before Earth.
What? How is that possible?
It was designed that way. It was brilliant. To dive as deeply as possible into such ignorance, such darkness, and still find your way back to remembering who you were? That took true mastery.
Wow, I still can't believe you went to Earth. Tell me more.
Well, Earth had its own set of laws that everyone agreed to experience. Like gravity, what goes up must come down. Like linear time, day is followed by night.
Time? What's time?
You know how when we
what's
think of
time?
something, it manifests instantly? Well, on Earth, there was a delay. The delay is what made Earth so difficult.
Interesting. Time.
Hey, and what she said, how we used to manifest things instantly, right? I've heard that before, and it makes me feel like that's how a lot of these grand buildings, and just like, for instance, the pyramids, that's how these things was created, right? Because we can't really find any way that they created these things. You could say slaves, but that don't even make sense to me. So what if there was a time where you can literally manifest this entire building and bang, instantly it's right there? That would be wild, wouldn't it?
So tell me more.
Before going to Earth, you would choose your family, whether you wanted to be male or female, what race you wanted to be, the location on the planet, things like that.
Oh, so you could choose your own character.
Exactly. You would enter the Earth as a baby and be completely dependent on others to teach you the rules. But since nobody could remember the rules, they made up their own rules, based on fear and giving your power away to others.
That doesn't sound like much fun.
It wasn't for everyone.
What'd you do while portions of you were on Earth?
I watched them. It was pretty funny.
What was so funny?
Here were these magnificent beings, playing the most unique and cutting-edge experience in the universe. And they were clueless.
I tried to guide them as much as possible. Wait a second, you could communicate with them? Yes, but they couldn't hear me. I would show them synchronicities, or send them impulses to help guide them, but they couldn't see the signs. Why not? They didn't trust themselves. So is that why they sent out a call for help? Exactly. Is that when you went? No, I didn't go until later. First volunteers, they had it the worst. What do you mean, had it the worst? Well, they killed them. What? They killed the volunteers. They killed them? Those on Earth couldn't understand what the volunteers were telling them. The idea that they were equal to the volunteers scared them. What were they telling them? Common sense stuff like, all the answers you seek are inside you. Everything I can do, you can do and more. So they killed them? And then they twisted the volunteers' message and created even more fear. What do you mean more fear? Like the message, God is inside you, was turned into, you are separate from God. The message, all the answers you seek are inside you, was twisted into, you can't trust yourself. And they believed it? It was out of control. How could they believe that? You had to be there to understand. Did you know they actually believed that they were the only intelligent life in the universe? Now that's funny. Pretty crazy, I know. So then what happened? The designers knew Earth was going to enter a section of the galaxy that humans had never experienced before. A section filled with a frequency that might be able to reconnect the human's DNA. What was wrong with their DNA? It didn't work anymore. The thing is, their DNA was how they connected with their higher self. So that's why your incarnations can hear you. Exactly. But there was a catch with the new plan. Only those incarnated on Earth could tune in to these new frequencies. Oh, so they needed more volunteers. Yes, but this time they were taking no chances. To pull this off, they needed millions in the physical form, wired and ready to attune to these frequencies. Are these the 21st century humans that all the stories are about? Yep, we volunteered from every corner of the universe to help the humans wake up. What did the volunteers have to do once they got there? We had to wake ourselves up, attune to these frequencies, and spread them to the rest of the planet. That sounds impossible. Most of those watching the Earth experiment didn't think we could pull it off. So what happened when you got to Earth? Once on Earth, we were taught the same fear-based beliefs that had been handed down for eons. We lived just like everyone else, totally clueless to who we were and what was getting ready to happen. But as soon as the Earth entered this cloud of frequencies, we started to question everything. And one by one, we started to wake up, So the plan was working. It was. The more we trusted ourselves, the quicker we reconnected.
Sound like right now, don't it?
The faster we started to remember what was happening. And since we were spread out evenly all around the planet's frequency began to rise quickly. What happened when the planet's frequency began to rise? Humans' experience of time began speeding up. They started manifesting their beliefs faster and faster. Those consumed with fear created even more fear, and eventually Earth just spun out of control. What do you mean, spun out of control? These low-frequency beliefs that had controlled the human experience for eons could no longer exist, so they began to self-destruct, and the world fell into complete chaos. That sounds terrifying. It was for those living in fear, but for us volunteers, we all knew it was the end of the old energy and the beginning of the new. So then what happened? A tipping point was reached in our awakening, and we created a new Earth. A new Earth? What happened to the old Earth? It continued on, allowing those who could not let go of their fears to play out their lessons. But for us, we created a new Earth that matched our higher frequency. And as easy as that, all the fear-based beliefs simply fell away. In an instant, we remembered who we were. We knew we were all connected, and we stopped hurting each other. We started respecting each other, started loving each other. We took back our power to create, and we created a new Earth without fear. Wow, so the legends are true. What an incredible experience that must have been. Nice work. Thanks. So tell me, out of everything you've ever done, what's the craziest experience you've ever had? That's easy. Earth.
Hold on, it's replaying. Hey, y'all heard what they said? You know what I'm saying? Time for this new Earth. Y'all ready for new Earth? I'm ready for new Earth. Let's go.
Very important time we're in right now. And there's many souls that are coming in right now to be here for it. They volunteered to come. The call went out throughout the universe, volunteers to come and help. They have to be souls that are pure, that have not known violence, have no karma to repay, to come in and help raise the consciousness of those who are here. And these people don't know they're one of these. I find it out in my work, but they have no idea on the conscious level they are one of these who has volunteered to come and to use their energy to help raise the consciousness of the world. And I've been told it's working because now the positive is beginning to overshadow the negative. And we are moving into a new world, and it's beyond anything you can expect. But it's too late to turn back now. It's in the process, and it is happening.
Yo, this new world, I don't know whether to be excited because it's crazy right now.
Right, so
that's
let me
all I
tell you
know.
like this, right? So the name of the game is to keep you in your childlike state of mind, right? Because the longer you're in your childlike state of mind, you're interacting with your inner child, the less substance and mental fortitude you have, if that makes sense. The less protection you have here when you are tapped into that. And, you know, with children, they can be easily shaken, easily traumatized, you know what I'm saying? So like I said, these systems, they try to keep you in that childlike state of mind. They try to keep you kind of docile, kind of not knowing that much stuff. Try to keep you dumb, which in turn keeps you like young here. So if they successfully kept you in your childlike state of mind, like anybody can say anything out here as trigger words to traumatize you. And I'm not saying people can't, you know, if you're an adult, you can't get traumatized. What I'm saying is that it's easier to traumatize children than adults. Because like I said, children don't have that protection up here. So let me get to what I was really going to talk about. Talking about that Jim Crow. So you see what we've been taught about Jim Crow, and you see how when you say Jim Crow, that is a trigger. Those trigger words right there. Jim Crow, yeah, that's a trigger word. And what that do is that trigger your fight or flight. They don't make you go into what the context is of the subject. We don't really have to worry about that much about Jim Crow because we all know that we're not our ancestors. We know that these days are not going to be the same as those days. We already know that. That's a fact. But if you can't get past that trigger word, what that does is that either instills fear or that instills rage. You don't see the distraction that's being pulled over your eyes, because none of that stuff can happen, y'all. None of that stuff can happen. I see and I hear a lot of people talking about that Jim Crow stuff. If you a real person, that shit it's not happening. So with that being said, I'm just telling y'all, it's a mental game that we playing out here. It's a very, 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 very mental game we playing out here. When you see anything physical, that's like the first level. Because you can see what's coming if it's physical. Sometimes not. But when it has to do with your mental, it's a whole different story. You have to have protection. You have to have the knowledge of protection in that moment. So they bringing up Jim Crow right at the same time. Our people waking up, figuring out things. We waking up, doing genealogy, the awakening happening. It's up from here. But the trigger words, it's called mental regression. If they can successfully, if someone has like successfully traumatized you, right, and then they can find out what is the trigger for that traumatization that's going on in your head, they can possibly shoot you back into your childlike state of mind where you're not thinking for yourself. It's just, you're going off instincts at the time. It's just either fight or flight, like I'm saying. It's like people want to talk about Jim Crow, but then nobody want to talk about Dr. Walter Plecker. They over here fighting against the universe, trying to stop something that's way bigger than them. So, hey, tell me what y'all think in the comments. Leave a like. Peace.
Average black person has over $40 million worth of melanin in their body. What?
That's
40
a lot.
mil what? According to an interview on Africa Global Radio, that melanin is $460.53 a gram. Who knew melanin was for sale? Every piece of metal, whether it's silver, gold, everything is already in our skin. But who knew they actually had technology to extract skin too? I heard it all.
That's crazy.
It's worth more than silver, gold, platinum, all the different precious metals out there. Melanin is worth more per gram. You can't make this stuff up. So this is cash value. So the next time you see a person who's thinking low of themselves, you can tell them your melanated skin is worth over $40 million. Seems like a good and a bad thing. The good thing is that you're worth a lot of money. The bad thing is what people will do to get that from you. You gotta be careful out here. Everybody careful. Be careful with yourself, careful with your kids, and keep that blam, 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 blam right there. You understand? Now, people in relationships protecting their heart, and out here in the world, you gotta protect your mind, but now you better protect your skin as well. It goes back to that saying, I don't chase money because I myself am the money. This is the proof of it in many ways.
Is a force that doesn't want you to awaken. What is it about you if you awaken that makes them so fearful of you? That's what you should ask yourself, because within you is a God. The God power is just simply man who can become as a God and get off this planet. We're fallen man. We are the Anunnaki we search for. Then what they have to do with technology, you can do with the mind. That's the difference between a God man and a mankind and human. It's a big difference. When you use those words interchangeably, again, you're wrong. There are all different kind of consciousnesses, all different kind of races. Whatever is latent within us, whatever this planet wants to live or have on her, must be so strong that it will take it away from them, take us past them, and they will fight to the death not to get it, because they know if we awaken, we might do to them what they did to us, and they're very fearful of it. This is a time of great change. It's a time of awakening. Don't think you're alone. Many people are awakening. Don't worry about those who aren't. Work with those who are. This is where we'll get forward.
Yeah, man, for real. Work with those who are. We gotta stay together,
You
y'all.
ever run into those people that just seem to hate you for no apparent reason? I mean, you might not have did nothing to them physically, but for some reason, they just always mad at you. They might have a better title, they might be a boss, they might be a doctor, they might have more money than you, they might have a family, but they still seem to hate on you, even when it seems to the physical eye that you might be behind them. But in actuality, what's happening is that their soul is in a fight with your soul. They recognize that you're aligned with something higher than the mundane things that they're aligned with. They're only aligned and have power through their title. You have power through your spirit and your soul, and that's what they really fear. And they hope that you don't know that, because that's the only way that they can keep you down. But when you actually know that, then they have no power over you, because they stuck in the mundane while you floating on a higher ranking spiritually. Believe that.
This for my people be working for real. Listen to me. Don't ever get strong-armed, ever, bro. You gotta know your power, bro. People don't know their value. That's why they get strong-armed. That's why it's 99% of people doing the exact same thing and working and doing things they hate. They get satisfied with a day job that they hate just because they begin strong-armed and they can't stick up and know their power.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not know what you can do? See, people be getting these jobs and it completely changes them. Now, I understand having to provide for your family, right? You having to provide for your family, got a house to pay, X, Y, and Z, friends to provide for. But listen to me, there's other jobs. There's money everywhere. There's other opportunities. If you're getting shallowed on, if you're getting bullied or any sense, getting strong-armed, don't take that. Say, no, I'm going to go elsewhere.
With yourself in nature, or you will be interfacing with the AI this year.
Anybody follow Isis Wisdom? I had followed her on Instagram a while back, and I kind of like what she was posting. I've never really watched her YouTube or her TikToks or anything like that, but she posted some things on Instagram, and I liked it. So I'm pretty interested in seeing what she's got to say.
This is a warning. You're either going to be interfacing with yourself, doing your shadow work, doing your healing, spending time in nature, getting your body together, detoxing, doing all the things that help you get in alignment with Kai. Or you will be interfacing with that AI. And this is not a joke. The AI is here, y'all. My next live that I'll be doing is called the Animus. The anime. The AI. It is here.
Hold on, anime? I kind of like anime. I ain't think that had anything to do with AI, man. Don't be coming for my anime. All my Dragon Ball Z fans, stand up.
This is a stern warning to you this year. There is not going to be any in-between. Pay attention to your circle. Pay attention to where you're putting your time at. There isn't going to be any in-between with this. It's either yourself or the AI. Either you want to heal or you want to become transhuman. That's your choices. Further, there's going to be implants. These implants, they have created a new implant now that's being placed in the food that's entering into your bodies. This implant is also mixed with AI.
Oh, no.
Period. You are not going to be able to detox this with herbs. It is artificial intelligence. You need to get with those who are energy healers, individuals who are operating on a cosmic level, such as myself. You need to get with people that are on a higher level to help you get these things pulled out of your body, or you will be taken over by those implants in your body. They're putting them in the food, okay? The nanotechnology is being placed in the food. You need to be mindful of the things that you are eating. This ain't for the play. They're not playing fair out here. And they can get away with this because they're utilizing universal laws, the things that you have no education about.
Y'all know what universal law is? So my take on universal law is that anytime someone's going to do anything bad that's going to affect the people of this world, right? They have to tell us in some type of way. And that's what they do in movies and books and other things that they know that most people aren't. It's going to fly over their head, or they're going to think, oh, it's just a movie. That's not real. But really, that's them telling us this is what's about to happen, y'all. And then it happens and we're like, oh, man, how'd they know that, man? Like The Simpsons, for instance. So that's what I believe universal law is. And that's how they can do these things and not face the consequences.
How they're applying it. Be very careful.
Find meaning in life. Now, it's very important to find some type of meaning in your life, because if you don't, you will never do anything meaningful or useful in this life. That truly challenge your mind and go beyond all the cycles and patterns that you play inside your mind. You should be able to take time alone to ask yourself, what's the meaning of life, or what's the meaning of my life in general? Our minds strive off of meaning, because if not, the brain will find something to attach itself to and occupy itself with, which is most likely just going to be distractions and things to keep you busy from the actual questions you've always had. do this for so long, we forget to give ourselves a meaning in life. Most of the things that we attach ourselves to in this life isn't going to bring us to our true purpose. So if you really think about it, there's no meaning in doing it. Most people just do these things because they have no clue what they're actually doing. We should be doing things big instead of working a 9-to-5 job our whole life or just going to school for so many years. These are examples of things we do to keep ourselves busy. We never question why we actually do these things. We just do it because we feel like we have to. You got to do things that satisfy your soul and not the things that you're consumed into.
Yo, he ain't lying with that one. For real.
What's up, y'all? I actually got more in my eye. And this video is going to be about how your world crumbles all the way down and crashes all the way down before you reach a new level of enlightenment. Alright, so this download is coming straight from my own life experience. Most of my downloads come from straight life experience that I be experiencing in life. But this one comes from like literally the recent shit I just experienced, you feel what I'm saying? Like I'm experiencing this download right now as I make this video. I'm going through what I'm finna say. But we all know that in this life we have to go through things, you feel what I'm saying? We all know about the process of transformation or the process of change or the process of being reborn, you feel what I'm saying? How they say something has to die off in order to be reborn. Like a phoenix rising from its ashes, you feel what I'm saying? You create a whole bunch of fire and then you were born from that fire that you created that burnt you down. So when you are reaching new echelons of enlightenment and when you also finna reach new echelons of activity in your environment, you finna go into new things, like you might finna get a new house or you might finna move to a new city, you feel what I'm saying? But there's stuff that happens before that pushes you to go do that other shit, you feel what I'm saying? A bunch of shit happens and it pushes you away from your old life and you are getting pushed into a new life. But the reason you were going through all this resistance and the crazy shit because you were absorbing a new frequency of energy and you have to get attuned to that energy. I give an example. It's like when you first put your braces on, everybody say when they first put their braces on, that shit be hurting and sore for like a couple weeks, you feel what I'm saying? But after those couple weeks, the shit it stop hurting and being sore. And after you take your braces off, you got new teeth, you see what I'm saying? That's what happens. You start going through shit and the shit gets uncomfortable and shit. You go through a lot of shit, but this is only tearing you down so you can bounce up, you feel what I'm saying? It's like a ball. When you drop the ball and the ball bounces up high as fuck, that's what's gonna happen. But you are not a ball though. So what you are doing is being brought all the way down. So you can build a new reality. Only way to go up from being down, only way to go from being down is up. So if the only way from being down is up, then you are finna go up. And while going up, you have the chance to create a new reality because you was up here, you feel what I'm saying? You was up here and you was mingling in this reality, but you was brought down, you feel what I'm saying? And then now, when you go back up here, there's gonna be some different shit. I meant to give y'all the example, but you was up here and then you went down, and you feel what I'm saying? And then when you go back up here, there's gonna be some new shit. So with that being said, bro, be patient with this shit. Don't hurt yourself. Don't do none of that shit. Don't motherfucking try to attach the things that you did to you because the things that you did are not you. It's how you handle those things. You may have fucked up, you feel what I'm saying? You may have did some shit that was fucked up that you didn't mean to do, but that's part of life. We do things out of different reasons at times, you feel what I'm saying? If it wasn't meant to happen, it would never happen, you feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, if there's some bullshit going on, it's meant to happen. Take the lesson from that shit and go forward. It don't even fucking matter. Do what you gotta do, bro. Uphold yourself, uplift yourself, do whatever you gotta do during the moment, and all the stuff you did, you can motherfucking apologize for that, be open with that, you straighten all that shit out and go forward, go up to the top, work on building shit better, you feel what I'm saying? Work on love, you feel what I'm saying? You gotta access love. Once you access love, all this shit will start healing itself and be better, you feel what I'm saying? Speaking of that, I'm finna take my own advice and start working with everything from love. If the shit doesn't represent love when I'm doing it, I'm not finna do it. Peace to y'all. I hope this video helped y'all. Love y'all. She got my peace.
Yo, that is the fifth dimension. It's all about love. And like you were saying, once you hit the bottom, it's only one way to go from there. Stay positive, people.
Still children. Some people are 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, but yet they are still children.
Yo, for real.
And most of the problems we deal with in life is letting you know that you are still a child. What the enemy do is it attacks us when we are children because they understand someday we will become grown people, or we will become grown in age or in numbers, but we will still mentally be children. This is why generational curses is so extreme. And to really understand what generational curses is, a lot of times it's not even self-trauma, it's trauma that has been introduced to us. The universe designed us to be a certain way. Nature wants us to live a certain way. The soul have made agreements to evolve at a certain point in evolution. but somehow, some way, we are no longer moving.
Hey, it takes a very strong person to break that cycle.
I'm gonna say this again because I ain't heard nobody say it in a while. People only understand from what they perceive, okay? Nobody ain't gonna know how you know. How you know your success, how you know your success, you feel me? How you know yourself. Nobody ain't gonna know you or know your success how you know it. As long as you know, that's the only fucking person's opinion who should matter, right? Because everybody is an extension of you anyway, right? They're reflecting you in some type of way, some type of form, you feel me? So as long as you know, that's all that matters, right? As long as you know.
If you know, you know.
Peace to all the gods and goddesses and the high vibrational human beings, you mean? We in a time right now where we need to be focused on healing. That's the most main important one. Shadow work and self-love. Okay? I started my healing journey, my healing shadow work and self-love journey in August. August was when I first decided to start trying to dig into my shadow side and forgive my shadow for everything that it's done. It's also around the time where I started to wanting to heal, you mean? Because I've heard about, like, I've heard a lot of people, a lot of gods and goddesses talk about the healing journey. And, you mean, it wasn't, like, when I first started it, like, when I first started my journey, when I first started my spirituality, when I first was awakened to the truth, it was a lot of information and stuff that I wanted to take in, a lot of information. And one of those topics or things was healing, you mean, and shadow work. At the time, no, I didn't work on healing. I didn't work on shadow work. I didn't work on self-love. But that's because that was just the point I was in my journey, you mean? So right now, healing, shadow work, and self-love is critical. It's critical for the times that we're in. Everybody talking about the shift this, the shift that. The shift already happened and it's still happening. This is why we tell you to raise your vibrations. You mean? Focus on healing, self-love, shadow work. You mean? Because all of that is going to help your body, I should say, help your avatar go more smoothly through this shift. Okay? Now, a lot of things that that's taking place right now is because a lot of us aren't healed. A lot of us aren't focusing on self-love. We worried about what the next person doing and how they doing it. You mean? So that's why all of this is taking place, so that we can get back to who we are. You mean? That's why a lot of us talking about healing, self-love, and shadow work. Peace, gods and goddesses.
Can anyone tell me why we're the only creatures on this planet that are completely not living by the laws of nature, but instead by laws made by people that the majority of us don't even know? Why are we doing that again? Like, for some reason, instead of being governed by the laws that every other species is, we're governed by the ideologies of men whose main goal is to profit as much as they can. We are literally living by the rules of the Monopoly Man. I don't know, it just seems a little whack if you ask me, so I'm gonna go forget about that for a while by looking at rocks and playing with seagulls. Bye. Meep. Meep. Meep.
Okay, she could have left the meep up out of there. Hey, but shout out to this younger generation taking those spiritual steps to enlightenment. Definitely needed in this world right now. But yeah, guys, these are some of the most godly spiritual TikToks that I'm sure ups your vibrations. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe and turn your notification bell on. And until next time, YouTube, peace.